Hi class, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, sige po. Salamat. Thank you for joining this class discussion. Let me share my screen po so para makita natin. Okay, wait for a moment. Okay, class, can you see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Okay po, sige po. Salamat. So, the last time, diniscuss natin yung IAS 16 or PAS 16 regarding accounting for property, plant, and equipment. Kung saan na-discuss natin yung definition ng property, plant, and equipment, ano ba yung initial recognition, requirement, saka initial measurement. So, di ba na pag-usapan natin the last time that property, plant, and equipment are tangible items, meaning to say, nahahawakan sila. So, ang PPE saka intangible, magkabaligtad sila. So, PPE is tangible, intangible, hindi naman nahahawakan. Pero, same rin sila ng rule how to recognize cost initially, how uh, we measure the cost initially. So, ganun din. Kung sa PPE, depreciation, sa intangible, amortization. So, na-discuss natin last time about the definition. Now, na-discuss rin natin yung recognition requirement. Diba? Dalawa yung hinahanap ng conceptual framework kapag nag-recognize ng asset. Probability criterion, saka measurability criterion, on which the IAS 16 or PAS 16 provided those two criterion. Ngayon, napag-usapan din natin yung mga cost components. So, di ba, originally, it should be recorded at historical cost. And then, aside from the cost, ano pa ba yung mga iba-ibang component ng cost na dapat ilagay sa PPE? So, we have import duties and non-refundable purchase taxes, and then other directly attributable cost of bringing the asset to its working condition and for its intended use. So, kapag yung cost na incur mo pero hindi naman yun for para magamit ang isang PPE, so hindi mo siya dapat isama. So, ito yung mga na-discuss natin the last time. Tapos, paano tayo makaka-acquire ng property, plant, and equipment? May na-discuss na tayong tatlo nung nakaraan, di ba? So, napag-aralan natin nakaraan yung first three modes of acquisition. Una, cash purchase. Paano ba natin i-record ang property, plant, and equipment kapag binili natin siya ng cash? So, una, we have to record it on its cash price equivalent. That should be net of trade discounts and rebates. And then, isasama natin yung incidental cost. So, other incidental costs incurred in connection with its acquisition. So, remember the last time, di ba, meron tayong example kung saan bumili yung company ng sasakyan, delivery truck, tapos nagbayad pa siya ng commission para doon sa siguro nagbenta, nag-endorse sa kanya ng murang delivery truck. So ngayon, babayaran niya yung commission nung tao na yon. So dahil incidental cost yon, you have to capitalize it and it will form part of the cost of the delivery truck. Then other necessary costs incurred to bringing the asset to its present location and condition and to prepare the asset for its intended use. So itong mga other incidental costs saka necessary costs, ito yung mga directly attributable cost na tinutukoy natin. So yung diniscuss natin the last time na directly attributable cost, hindi lang yon limited doon sa directly attributable cost na napag-usapan natin like this one. handling cost, insurance cost, installation and assembly cost, site preparation cost, professional fees, cost of testing, cost of employee benefits, and then dismantling cost saka restoration cost. Hindi lang siya limited dyan. Pero, syempre, kapag nakita na natin itong mga cost na to, syempre aware tayo na this or other directly attributable cost na dapat isama natin as part ng cost ng property, plant, and equipment. So, syempre, kailangan nating pag-aralan ng maigi, basahin ng maigi yung i-analyze kung dapat ba maging part ng cost ng property, plant, and equipment itong cost na ito. So mamaya pag-aaralan natin yan. Pag natapos natin yung modes of acquisition, pag-aaralan natin directly ano-ano yung mga cost involved kapag bumili ng machinery. Ano-ano yung mga cost involved kapag bumili ng land. Ano naman yung mga cost involved kapag bumili or magko-construct ng building. So mamaya pag-aaralan din natin yun. Then pag-aaralan din natin yung depreciation. So ngayon, balik muna tayo sa modes of acquisition. So sa modes of acquisition, di ba napag-aralan na natin, cash purchase, on-account basis, saka installment basis. So cash basis or cash purchase, tulad na nasabi kanina, we have to record it based on its cash price equivalent. Then we have to include the other incidental cost and other necessary cost. Kasi kailangan yon to bring the asset to its present location and condition, saka para ma-prepare yung asset for its intended use. Ano ba yung purpose ng asset na binili mo? So kapag hindi satisfy yung entity for the intended use ng asset, so yung any related cost na hindi naman para doon sa intended use ng asset, hindi mo dapat isama. On account basis, ito na pag-aralan din natin last time, di ba? So how do we record property, plant, and equipment when we purchase it on account basis? So on account basis is a credit term. Nung napag-aralan natin to sa ating I think that's accounting 2, 'di ba? Sa merchandising concern, nagkaroon ng mga on account basis or credit term. Syempre, to facilitate sales, para mas malaki yung sales, magbebenta ka ng pautang. So ganun din sa PPE. Kapag bibili ka, pwede kang umutang. Kasi sales 'yon sa part ng seller, and then tayo, entity, tayo yung mag-acquire ng asset. So, how do we record property, plant, and equipment on account basis? So we have to record it on its purchase price, which is net of trade discounts and rebates. And then kung meron cash discount, we have to record it net of cash discount. So whether taken or not. So similar siya dun sa ano, 'di ba? Sa ating IAS 2, inventory. So whether you take the cash discounts or hindi, kapag sa inventory, dapat mo siyang ibawas doon sa net purchases. Ganun din sa property, plant, and equipment. So may consistency sila, no? Consistency IAS 2 saka si IAS 16 doon sa pagdededuct ng cash discount. So kahit ma-avail mo or hindi, dapat i-deduct. Nakukuha po ba? Nakakasunod po ba, class?
Yes, sir.
All right. So thank you. Thank you again for still listening. So other incidental cost saka necessary cost, kailangan isama rin natin. So lagi natin tatandaan yan, ha. Other incidental cost, other necessary cost, isasama natin. Basta related siya sa pag-acquire ng asset at kailangan related yon para maidala yung asset na yon sa present location and condition at para sa intended use ng asset na yun. Napag-aralan din natin last time yung installment basis. So meron tayo kasing installment accounting. May advance accounting na kayo, di ba, no? Just to confirm, do you have advance accounting?
Wala pa po.
Wala pa, no? So wala pa pala. Okay. Ngayon, ang pinag-aaralan kasi natin is intermediate accounting. Yung pinag-aralan nyo, nung una, accounting 1 and 2, accounting 3 and 4, these are basic accounting. So, basic financial accounting yon. Ngayon, nung nag-conceptual framework kayo, tas intermediate accounting, yan na yung intermediate financial accounting. So, tapos na kayo sa basic financial accounting, nag-umpisa na kayo sa intermediate financial accounting. Yung cost accounting. Cost accounting is a part of advanced financial accounting. Kaso, hiniwalay lang siya para ma-emphasize yung cost accounting. But that is a part of your advanced financial accounting. Ngayon, pag nagkaroon kayo ng subject na advanced financial accounting, yung subject mismo nakalagay advanced accounting, doon mapag-aaralan nyo yung installment sales. So dito sa financial accounting natin or intermediate accounting natin, may pahapyaw na siya regarding sa installment sale. Kaso, related siya sa property, plant, and equipment. Installment accounting ito sa part ni buyer. Pero sa advanced financial accounting, installment accounting naman sa part ni seller. So dito muna tayo kay buyer kasi tayo bibili ng property, plant, and equipment. Dalawang points, a point of view, yung dapat natin tignan. Kapag may available cash price equivalent o kaya walang available cash price equivalent. Kapag may available na cash price equivalent, then we have to record the PPE at its cash price equivalent. Nakukuha po ba? Nakakasunod po ba? So, kulayan ko lang. Ayan. If there is available cash price, then we have to record the PPE at its cash price or cash equivalent at the acquisition date. So, any difference between the cash price equivalent and then the total payments, we have to record it as interest expense over the period. Unless na lang kung self-constructed asset yun, tapos nag-isang qualifying asset, it falls into the definition of past 23 na qualifying asset siya, then we can capitalize such interest. Now, if under installment basis, wala siyang available cash price equivalent, i-record natin yung PPE using the present value or discounted value of all future payments using the imputed interest rate. So, na-try natin to last time. Gumawa tayo ng problem. Naaalala pa po ba? So, kung saan meron siyang na-receive na note, meron siya palang in-issue na note. Bumili siya ng property, plant, and equipment, pero meron siyang in-issue na note. Wala siyang pambayad. Tapos yung binili niya na asset or PPE, wala siyang cash price equivalent. So, yung basis natin will be the present value ng note. So, magkano daw yung note na yon? Yung note payable na ibinigay, 300,000 pesos. So, 300,000 pesos, tapos may nakasulat doon, imputed interest rate for that similar note is 10%. So, we have to compute the present value for the note. So, naiintindihan na po ba? Naalala pa po ba yung 3 modes of acquisition na napag-aralan natin una? Alright. Now, let's move on to another mode of acquiring property, plant, and equipment, which is exchange of assets. So, minsan, kapag nag-acquire tayo ng asset, pwede naman tayo makipagpalitan, di ba? Uso kaya to, yung minsan meron kang cellphone. Gusto mo, cellphone mo, iPhone. Tapos yung isa, klase mo may iPhone siya pero ayaw niya ng iPhone. Gusto niya Android. So, Android user siya, ikaw, iPhone user. Pero ang hawak mo, iPhone. Ang hawak mo, Android. Tapos ang hawak niya, iPhone. So, syempre, dahil hindi niya ma-enjoy ng masyado yung mga phones na hawak niyo dahil hindi nagmamatch sa inyong kagustuhan or sa inyong preference, pwede kayong mag-usap. Pwede kayong mag-exchange ng asset. So, ganun din sa business. Minsan, sa mga business entities or businesses, nagpapalitan sila ng asset. So, probably it could be due to the business operational requirement. Baka mas kailangan ni company yung equipment na nandoon sa isang company. Tapos ito naman si company na ito naman, kailangan niya yung equipment na nandoon naman sa isang company. So, they can exchange their equipment. Palitan sila. So, of course, minsan may money involved doon. Sasabihin ng isang entity or isang company, wait lang, mag-exchange tayo ng equipment or asset. Kaso, mas mahal yung asset na meron ako kaysa sa asset na ibibigay mo sa akin. Baka pwedeng dagdagan mo yung ibayad mo sa akin. Bigyan mo ako ng pera. So, minsan may monetary consideration for the exchange of similar of assets. So ayan. So exchange transaction of non-monetary assets. So as you can see in the screen, there is one entity. So entity 1, meron siyang property, plant, and equipment. Si entity 2, meron din siyang property, plant, and equipment. Kung saan mag-exchange sila, magpapalitan sila ng kanya-kanyang PPE. Sabi ni Entity 1, ay yung may PPE ka pala dyan na bagay sa amin, sa business namin. Tapos nakita rin ni Entity 2, oo nga, meron ka ring PPE na bagay naman sa business namin. Baka pwede tayong magpalitan. Sakaling mas mag-boost yung ating operations ng bawat isa. So, yung dapat natin i-consider dito yung assets transferred and received. So, under an exchange transaction, there is an asset transferred and an asset being received. So, syempre, doon, we also have to consider meron bang involved na pera. There could be a monetary transaction. So, ano yung rule ni IAS 16 or PAS 16 pagdating sa exchange transaction? Meron kasing rule si IAS 16 or PAS 16 pagdating dito sa exchange transaction. So, una, regarding the rules of IAS 16 or PAS 16, dapat daw, i-record daw yung cost ng PPE at fair value. So, dapat fair value, i-record natin yung palitan ng property, plant, and equipment. Bakit kaya dapat i-record at fair values? Bakit dapat i-record? Do you have any idea? Meron po ba kayong idea? Why do we need to record PPEs under exchange transactions na dapat i-measure sila at fair values? Kasi syempre, yung book value, it does not fairly represent the actual value of the property, plant, and equipment. Di ba naalala pa po sa ating accounting 1 and 2, 3, and 4 kung paano mag-record ng depreciation or ng book value ng asset. Di ba we have here the cost of PPE. So meron tayong cost ng PPE amount XXX, di ba? May XXX tayo. Yan yung amount natin. And then we have to deduct the accumulated depreciation. Depreciation. Okay, wait lang class ha. Okay, accumulated depreciation. Okay. So sa accumulated depreciation, i-deduct natin yung accumulated depreciation, di ba? Nakakasunod pa po ba class?
Yes, sir.
Alright.
Yes.
So, dito sa accumulated depreciation natin, ibabawas natin siya sa cost ng PPE. Then, we will get the book value of the property, plant, and equipment. So, yan yung book value, di ba? Book value of PPE. Sometimes, syempre, itong book value ng PPE na to, hindi niya nire-represent kung ano ba yung totoong value ng PPE na yon. Halimbawa, balik tayo sa cellphone. Magkano ba yung bentahan ng cellphone ngayon? Ano yung mga gusto nyong cellphone? Wish list. Ano yung wish list natin sa cellphone? Meron po ba kayong wish list na phone? iPhone, di ba? iPhone 12. Sabi natin, iPhone 12 Pro Max. Magkano kaya yung iPhone 12 Pro Max? iPhone 12 Pro Max. So that's around, sabihin natin, 89,000 pesos. Because the last time when I check the value of iPhone 12 Pro lang, that's around 89,000 pesos. Ngayon, tayo class, pag bumili tayo ng cellphone, hanggang ilang taon natin siya kayang gamitin? Kayo ba, pag may cellphone kayo, hanggang kailan niyo siya nagagamit hanggang masira? Mga ilang taon?
3 to 5 years po.
3 to 5 years, o 'di ba? So syempre sabihin natin pag ganito kamahal yung cellphone, sabihin natin hanggang 5 years to kakayanin natin. So yung useful life nung iPhone Pro Max para sa atin, iPhone 12 Pro Max para sa atin 5 years. This is our maximum useful life para sa iPhone. So lumalabas magkano ang depreciation, yearly depreciation. Sorry, magkano ang yearly depreciation for iPhone 12 Pro Max? So ito yung iyong depreciation per year. 17,500, 800. 17,800. So this is your yearly depreciation. Diba? That is your yearly depreciation. So sabihin natin, this is your cost, 89,000. And then, ilang years mo na siya nagamit? Sabihin natin, 2 years mo na siya nagamit. Pag 2 years mo na siya nagamit, yung accumulated depreciation mo para doon sa iPhone mo, nasa 35,600. So magkano ang book value ng property, plant, and equipment at book value ng iPhone? 53,400. Pero kapag ibebenta mo siya, magkano yung selling price ng iPhone? Selling price of second-hand iPhone, ba? Second-hand iPhone 12. So, magkano yung selling price ng second-hand na iPhone 12? Sabihin natin, ano pa rin? 50,000 na lang. Diba? Hindi na siya 53,400. 50,000 na lang. So, lumalabas, there is a difference of 3,400. So, yung book value ng property, plant, and equipment does not specifically represent kung ano ang fair value niya currently. So, yung fair value niya is only 50,000, not 53,400. Sabihin natin, naka 4 years ka na. Diyan sa ano mo, sa iPhone mo. Gusto mo na siyang palitan. Mag-iPhone 13 ka na. So, magkano na lang yung book value ng iyong iPhone? 17,800. Eh, magkano ang bentahan ng iPhone na second hand? iPhone 12 Pro Max. So, kaya mo siyang ibenta ng 25,000 pesos. So, lumalabas, mas mababa yung book value mo kaysa sa fair value. So, it does not fairly represent yung book value. It does not fairly represent the actual value or fair value ng asset ng iPhone 12 na meron ka. So, kaya ang accounting standard natin, yung IAS 16 or PAS 16, nare-require niya under an exchange transaction, the PPEs should be measured at fair value. Nakukuha po ba? Nagigets po ba, class? Alright. Ngayon, paano kapag walang fair value? Ano naman daw ang role kapag walang fair value? Kapag walang fair value, titignan natin kung ano ba yung nangyari dun sa transaction na yon. Does the transaction lacks a commercial substance? Wala bang commercial substance ang transaction na yon? So we have to check if the transaction lacks commercial substance. And then we have to check also if the fair value cannot be reliably measured. So ano yung commercial substance? Bakit sinasabi ng IAS 16 or PAS 16 yung commercial substance. So what is a commercial substance? For you, meron po ba kayo nabasa? What is a commercial substance? Ano yung commercial substance, class? Okay, so ang commercial substance, ito yung transaction. This is the transaction kung saan merong significance ang cash flow nung magbibigay ng asset versus sa cash flow nung i-receive na asset. So, yun yung sinasabi natin merong commercial substance. So, according to IAS 16 or PAS 16, an exchange transaction, so sulat ko dito ha, an exchange transaction has a commercial substance when, so an exchange transaction has a commercial substance when, okay ko pa rito, the configuration, so when the configuration, so pag sinabi natin configuration from the term ng accounting, it includes risks, so it includes risks, timing, and amount. So doon, yung tinutukoy ng PAS 16 and IAS 16, there is a commercial substance when the configuration that we are referring to risks, timing, and amount of the cash flow of the asset received differ from the configuration, of cash flows of the asset transferred. So, ito yung sinasabi ng PAS 16 or IAS 16 regarding commercial substance. So, magkaiba daw yung cash flow ng asset received. Tulad ng sinasabi ko kanina, yung na-receive, yung cash flow pertaining to the asset received is different. Very significant yung difference from the cash flow of the asset transferred. So, lagyan natin dito ng scenario ha. Lalagyan ko ng scenario. What do you call this? Lagyan natin ng graph. Ng picture. So, this is the asset transferred. Asset transferred. And then this is your asset received. Asset received. So, the asset transferred and the asset received, ang sabi nung ating PAS 16 or IAS 16, hindi daw sila equal. So, there is a significant difference. There is a significant difference between the cash flows. Kapag merong significant difference between the cash flows nung asset transferred saka nung asset received, then there is a commercial substance. Nakukuha po ba? Nagigets po ba, class? Palitan natin to. Gawin natin kulay. Alright, so yeah, okay. Lalagyan lang natin ng arrow. Okay. And this one, lagyan natin ng shape. Right. Okay. So yeah. So, anong sabi ng PAS 16 or IAS 16? An exchange transaction has a commercial substance when the configuration, risks, timing, and amount of the cash flow of the asset received differ from the configuration of cash flow of the assets transferred. So magkaiba daw yung cash flow ng asset transferred sa asset received. Kapag nakita niyo yung significant difference ng dalawang cash flows between the two exchanges ng asset, then there is a commercial substance. Nakukuha po ba? Nagigets po ba? Nakakasunod po ba, class?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Alright.
Yes.
Ngayon, kapag merong commercial substance, you have to recognize for any gain or loss. Diba? For any gain or loss on exchange of assets. So you have to recognize for any gain or loss of assets. Yan. Okay. So lagay ko ulit dito. Then, i-highlight natin. Gawin natin yellow. Yeah. So you have to recognize. So let's try a transaction. So gawa tayo ng transaction para dito. Para mas maintindihan natin. Okay. Gawa tayo. Ano kaya magandang pangalan ng company? Okay. So since mga bata pa kayo, tingnan natin BTS Company. BTS Company and EXO Company exchange equipment. So they exchange equipment. So the following data are available on the exchange. So ito daw yung mga following data na available sa exchange. So gawa na lang tayo. We have here the BTS and then we have here the EXO. Ayusin ko lang. Alright. So anong meron doon? Equipment. So they have equipment. They have each other's equipment at cost. So magkano ang value ng equipment ni BTS Company? 500,000 pesos. Okay. Sorry. Okay. And then magkano naman yung cost ng equipment kay EXO? 300,000 pesos. Magkano yung accumulated depreciation sa records? Accumulated depreciation. Kay BTS, sa records niya, 300,000 pesos na yung accumulated depreciation. While kay EXO, 50,000 pesos lang. And then, ano pa kaya? Fair value. Fair value of the equipment. Sabihin natin yung fair value ng equipment ni BTS Company, 180,000 pesos lang. And then kay EXO, 220,000 pesos. Sabihin na natin. So there is a difference. So yung difference ng value no fair value ng equipment ni BTS saka equipment ni EXO, there is a 40,000 pesos difference. So itong difference na to, pwede nilang pag-usapan kung magbabayad si BTS kay EXO. So ngayon, gawin natin. Sabihin natin, nagbayad. Kailangan magbayad ni BTS kay EXO kasi ang matatanggap niyang asset, yung fair value nun is more than the fair value of BTS asset given up. So, merong cash payment. So, cash paid by BTS to EXO. Nakakasunod po ba sa ating problem? Nakakasunod po ba?
Yes po.
Yes po.
Okay. Now, gawa tayo ng mga questions regarding dito. Number one question natin, how much should how much should BTS record the asset? So, yan yung unang question. How much should BTS record the asset? Ikalawang tanong, gawa ulit tayo. How much is the gain or loss on exchange of BTS? Baka meron daw gain or loss, to? Ikatlo, gawan ulit natin ang ikatlong tanong. Prepare journal entries to record. So, prepare journal entries to record transaction in the books of BTS. In the books of BTS. Number 4, gawa ulit tayo. How much should EXO record the asset? So, dito naman sa side ni EXO naman tayo, no? And then number 5, how much is the gain or loss on exchange of EXO? And then number 6, prepare, number 6, prepare journal entries to record transaction in the books of EXO. And then palitan natin yung number, it should be number 6. Ayan, so gagawin natin to, no? Ngayon, before natin gawin, ano ba yung rule? Ano yung rule? Una, kapag may commercial substance, paano masasabi may commercial substance? We have to check when the configuration of the cash flow of the asset received differ from the configuration of cash flow of the assets transferred. Etong question ba na to, is there a commercial substance? Meron bang commercial substance dito? Sa tingin niyo, may commercial substance kaya dito, class? Based sa inyong pagkakabasa, may commercial substance ba to?
Meron po.
Meron. Kasi iba yung cash flow, 'di ba? Iba yung cash flow based sa fair value ng equipment ni BTS. Iba din yung cash flow based sa fair value ng equipment ni EXO. So magkaiba sila. So probably there is a commercial substance. Actually, hindi siya probable. There really is a commercial substance. So there is no doubt as to it. Kasi meron nga binayaran si BTS kay EXO. Kukuha po ba? Nagigets po ba, class?
Yes po.
Yes.
Very good. Ngayon, paano natin i-record ito? Paano natin siya i-record? Gawa tayo ng rule natin. Ito yung normal procedure para i-record ang isang exchange transaction na merong commercial substance. So, kapag may exchange transaction, so sulat natin, if there is an exchange transaction with commercial substance, so if there is an exchange transaction with a commercial substance, we have to check meron bang cash payment involved? Meron bang cash payment involved or wala?
Meron po.
Yes. So that's correct. Kung meron bang cash payment involved or wala. Ngayon, titingnan natin, 'di ba? Titingnan natin. Dito sa problem meron. So anong rule? So rules when there is no cash involved. Pag walang cash involved, ito daw yung rule. Lagyan natin dyan. Rules when there is no cash involved. And then there is also a rule when there is a cash involved. So anong rule kapag walang involved na cash? Pag walang involved na cash, we have to record the asset. So record the asset at fair value of the property given. So of the property given. Lagyan natin dito ha, property given. So record the asset at fair value of the property given. Yan yung ilalagay muna natin. Pangalawa, procedure, record the asset at fair value of the property received. And then ikatlo,
Book value.
yes, book value. Kung walang book value, we have to follow the cost. So it should be either cost or book value of the property given. Ito yung rule ha. Ito yung rule kapag merong cash, kapag walang cash involved. So no cash involved. Lagay natin, highlight natin para mas matandaan. Okay, yan. What are the rules when there is a cash involved? So merong cash involvement naman. So lagay ko rito. Kapag may cash involved sa exchange transaction, ang una nating gagawin, record the asset at fair value of the asset given up, of the asset given up, diba? Of the asset given up plus cash payment. Sino yung magre-record nito? Nung unang rule. Record the asset at fair value of the asset given up plus cash payment. Kung sino yung nagbayad. So, si payor. So, i-record yan ni payor sa books niya. Kapag siya yung nagbayad, i-record niya yon based sa fair value nung inalis niyang asset, fair value nung inalis niyang asset, plus the cash payment. Ikalawa, record the asset at fair value of the asset received. Asset given up, diba? Record the asset at fair value of the asset given up minus cash payment. So, sino naman ang magre-record nito? Si payee. So, kapag mina-minus mo yung cash payment, si payee yun. Kapag ina-add mo yung cash payment, si payee yun. Nakukuha po ba? Nagigets po ba, class? So, ano yung mga rules kapag merong no cash involved? You have to record the asset at fair value of the property given. Ito yung sa books ni Nino. Ano, class? So, ano yung mga rules? Number 1, record the asset of the fair value of the property given, record the asset of the at fair value of the property received, and then, kung wala, cost or book value of the property given. Tapos yung ilalabas mo kasi based sa cost or book value. So, you have to record it para ma-recognize siya sa records or sa books no entity. Tapos kapag merong cash involved, you record the asset at fair value of the asset given up plus the cash payment. So that is on the books of the payor. And then you record the asset at fair value of the asset given up minus cash payment sa books naman ni payee. So balik tayo dito sa example natin kanina. So babasahin ko ulit, BTS Company and XO Company exchange equipment. The following data are available on the exchange. Equipment cost, 500,000 and 300,000 pesos. Accumulated depreciation, 300,000 pesos, 50,000 pesos. Fair value of the equipment, 180,000 pesos and 220,000 pesos. Since hindi magkapareho yung fair value ng equipment ng bawat isa, nagbayad si BTS kay XO ng 40,000 pesos. Question number 1. How much should BTS record the asset? So, magkano daw i-record ni BTS yung kanyang asset? Ano yung rule natin kapag merong cash payment? Ang nagbayad si BTS. So, record the asset at fair value of the asset given up plus cash payment. So, magkano yung fair value ng asset given up niya?
180,000.
180,000. That is correct. So, tama po yun. So, i-record natin ha. Kukompute natin. So, ilagay natin fair value of the asset given up. So, magkano daw? Lagay natin. Kunin natin doon sa data, 180. And then add cash payment.
Cash
That's correct. So, cash payment, 40,000 pesos.
40,000.
So, magkano yung cost ng new equipment niya? Cost of the new equipment of BTS.
220,000.
220. So, kung mapapansin mo, this is equal to the fair value nung na-receive niyang equipment kay EXO. Yan. So, this is the cost na i-record natin. Palagay natin dyan, highlight natin para mas madali nating makita. Ngayon, question number 2. Burahin ko lang to. Ayan. How much is the gain or loss on exchange of BTS? So, check natin kung merong gain or loss sa exchange ni BTS kay EXO. So, magkano yung fair value? How much is the fair value of the asset given up? Given up by BTS?
180,000.
180,000 pesos. So, ito yung value ng asset given up by the BTS. Nakukuha po ba? Then, you have to less the book value of the equipment, of equipment or asset given up. Asset given up. Magkano yung book value ng asset given up? Balikan natin.
200,000.
200,000 pesos. So, 500,000 minus 300,000 pesos. So, this one, 500 minus 300,000 pesos. Accumulated depreciation, so that's 200. That's the book value. So, merong difference. Diba? 180 saka 200. So, magkano ang difference? 20,000 pesos. That's correct. 20,000 pesos. So, is this a gain or loss?
Loss.
Loss.
Loss. That's correct. So, tama yan. So, wait lang class. Ayusin ko lang yung presentation. Ayan. So, accounting. Alright. So, this is the loss on exchange. Yan yung loss on exchange. So, highlight din natin. So, nakukuha po ba? Paano natin na-compute yung loss on exchange? Kailangan kunin natin yung difference ng book value of the asset given up saka yung fair value of the asset given up. Kasi i-record mo siya paano? I-record mo siya kasi based on the fair value of the asset given up plus any cash payment kung ikaw yung nagbayad. So this is your loss. Ikatlo, prepare journal entry. So para mas maintindihan natin bakit nagkaroon ng loss on exchange, kasi syempre nung tayo mga accounting students, sumusunod lang tayo dito sa format ng computation. Pero nalilito tayo, bakit kaya ganun? Bakit ganito yung format ng computation? Pero mas malinaw sa atin kapag gagawa natin siya ng journal entry. So gawa natin siya ng journal entry. So para mas malinaw, paano tayo gumawa ng journal entry for exchange of asset? So you have to debit the receipt
Equipment.
of the asset, di ba? Magde-debit ka ng receive ng asset na nakuha mo. So you debit equipment. Magkano yung value ng equipment mo?
220,000.
220.
220,000. That's correct. Ito yung nakuha mo, di ba? 220. Usog natin. Sorry. Yan. 220. Ito yung cost of new equipment. 220,000. Ano pa? Debit
Accumulated depreciation.
accumulated depreciation. So you debit accumulated depreciation. Magkano yung accumulated depreciation? Balik tayo sa problem. That's 300,000 pesos. Nakukuha po ba? Nakukuha po ba, class?
Yes.
Yes po.
Okay. Now, Since nag-debit kayo ng accumulated depreciation, you have to credit for the value of the equipment. Yung cost ng equipment. Credit equipment, lagay natin para mas ma-emphasize natin, old. And then this one, new. Yan. Magkano yung cost nung old equipment? Doon sa problem?
500,000.
500,000 pesos. And then, nagbayad ba ng cash si BTS?
Yes po.
Yes, nagbayad siya ng cash. Magkano yung binayad niya?
40,000
pesos. So, balance ba? Kapag tinotal mo ba yung 220 sa
Na-record pa po yung loss.
Hindi
Hindi
po.
pa. So, 520 yung debit mo and then 540 yung iyong credit. So, meron difference. So, hindi natin nasunod yung balance, pagka-balance ng double entry. So, there is a difference. So, we have to debit loss. On exchange. So, loss on exchange. Yung iba, loss on sale. Pero kasi ito, exchange of asset. So, loss on exchange na lang yung gawin natin. So, debit, loss on exchange, 20,000 pesos. Kung gusto nyo lagyan ng explanation, to record the exchange of old equipment to a new equipment. Yan. So that will be your entry. Nakukuha po ba? Nakakasunod po ba, class?
Yes po.
Alright. Now, tapos na tayo doon sa kay BTS. Gawa naman tayo ng kay EXO naman. Sundin natin yung question. How much should EXO record the asset? So, lagyan natin ng space muna dito. Lagyan natin ng space. Ang sabi, anong tanong ng problem? How much should EXO record the asset? Balikan natin yung problem. Si EXO, siya yung nakatanggap ng pera galing kay BTS. So, ano yung rule? Kapag may natanggap na pera, you record the asset at fair value of the asset given up minus cash payment. Magkano yung fair value ng asset given up ni EXO? 220,000.
20,000.
That's correct. Tama po yan. So, lagay natin dito, no? Fair value of the asset given up. That's 220,000 pesos. Less. Kanina add, di ba? Kay BTS. Ngayon, less naman. Less cash received. So, magkano yung cash na na-receive natin?
40,000.
40,000 pesos. So, magkano ang cost ng new equipment? 180,000. So, this is the cost of the new equipment. Yan. Okay. So, check ko lang. Ayan. Cost of the new equipment of BTS naman yan. Ito, cost of the new equipment of EXO. So, highlight din natin para mas makita natin. So, isasend ko rin ito sa inyo, class, ha? Para may copy kayo. Ano pa ba? So, tapos na tayo dito sa number 4. Doon naman tayo sa number 5. How much is the gain or loss on exchange of EXO? So, gawa natin ng computation din. Kung meron bang gain or loss doon sa exchange with EXO. So, ganun din. Similar transaction. Similar computation. Based tayo dito sa fair value of the asset given up and then less book value of the asset given up. Doon tayo. Magkano yung fair value of the asset given up ni EXO? Fair value of, yeah, that's correct. Thank you. Fair value of the asset given up by EXO. That's 220. So, gayahin na natin to. And then less book value of the asset given up. Magkano yung book value of the asset given up?
250.
250. 250. Tama, no? So, balikan natin. Check natin yung problem. 250. That's 300 minus 50,000 pesos accumulated depreciation. So, tama. That's 250. So, may difference, no? This is 220, yung fair value, and then yung book value, 250. So, merong difference na 30,000 pesos. So, that is the loss on, gayahin ko na lang. Ayan, loss on exchange. So, copy ko lang para mabilis na. Ayan. Loss on exchange, 30,000 pesos. Alright. So, naiintindihan po ba, class?
Yes po.
Yes.
Alright. Ngayon, gawa natin ng entry para mas maintindihan natin. Okay, bawas. D. To prepare journal entries to record transaction in the books of EXO. So, debit, ang i-debit natin kung ano yung equipment na na-receive natin. Debit, equipment, yung bago. Magkano yung equipment na bago? Based sa ating computation,
180,000.
80,000 pesos. And then you debit
1,000.
accumulated depreciation. Magkano yung accumulated depreciation sa 50,000. So 50,000 pesos. Balikan ulit natin dito. Yan, 50,000 pesos. And then you credit equipment, yung old. Magkano yun? 300,000 pesos. Ayan. So, binabalikan lang natin. 300,000 pesos. And then, credit. May credit ka ba? Or debit? May natanggap bang cash?
Yes po.
Yes, may natanggap na cash. So, kapag may natanggap na cash, you debit. So, debit, cash. Magkano yung natanggap na cash?
40,000.
40,000.
Balance ba?
Yung loss on
270.
exchange pa po.
270 lang yung debit mo, and then 300 yung credit. So, merong difference. So, i-balance natin, debit,
Loss on
loss on exchange. Magkano po?
30,000.
30,000 pesos. So, this is your journal entry to record transaction in the books of EXO. So, gayahin natin yung explanation. Ayan. So, to record the exchange of old equipment to a new equipment. Nakukuha po ba, class? Nagigets po ba?
Yes po.
Okay. So, ano yung rules? Tignan natin. Yan. Kapag walang cash involved, you record the asset at fair value of the property given or asset given up, and then you record the asset at fair value of the property received or asset received, and then you record for any cost or book value of the property given. Ngayon, may question ako. What if si BTS lang yung may fair value, si EXO wala siyang fair value? Ang sabi ng accounting standard, you record it based on the fair value either of the asset received or the asset given up, whichever is determinable. Kung sino yung determinable, yun yung i-record nyo. Pero dito sa case na to, pareho silang determinable, so you have to record it based on the fair value na binigay ng problem. Nakukuha po ba? Nagigets po ba? Pero kapag wala yung isa, whichever is determinable, yun yung basis nyo for recording the transaction. Okay po ba, class?
Yes po.
Alright. Okay. So, do you have any more question pagdating dyan? Wala po ba? Okay. So, kung wala, last discussion dito for exchange transaction. Kasi napag-aralan natin exchange transaction that has a commercial substance. What if the exchange transaction has no commercial substance? Lalagay ko lang dito ha. So please bear with me, class. Medyo mabagal lang. Lalagay ko dito. If the exchange transaction has no commercial substance. Ano naman ang gagawin natin kapag walang commercial substance? Ano nga ba yung commercial substance? Kapag may commercial substance, ibig sabihin yung cash flow ng asset na na-receive mo is significantly different from the cash flow of the asset given up. So, doon pa lang, kapag magkaiba yung fair value, merong na-receive kang cash, may commercial substance. Pero kung walang ganon, walang commercial substance. Nakukuha po ba? Nagigets po ba, class?
Yes.
All right. So, nakukuha po. So, very good. Now, paano natin siya? Anong gagawin natin kapag walang commercial substance? Record. So, record the property, plant, and equipment at the carrying value or carrying amount of the asset given up. So, syempre, kung dalawa kayo, kung ano yung asset na binigay nyo, yun yung asset given up. So, record the PPE at the carrying amount of the asset given up. And then, ano po? Kung sa commercial substance, merong gain or loss dito, there's
Wala pong gain.
no gain or loss on exchange. So, kapag commercial substance daw pala, walang gain or loss. Nakukuha po ba? So, there is no gain or loss on exchange recognized. So, lagay natin yan. Ayan. So, tatanda na, kapag no commercial substance, anong basis natin? Carrying amount. Kapag may commercial substance, basis, fair value. Tapos, merong gain sa kanila. Pag walang commercial substance, no gain or loss. Nakukuha po ba? Giget po ba?
Yes po.
Alright. Okay. Sige, gawa tayo. Balikan natin ito, no? Balikan natin walang commercial substance. Kuha tayo ng example. Gayahin na lang natin to. Pero walang commercial substance. Okay. Sorry. Ulitin ko ulit. Ayan. Sama natin example. This one. Ayan. Ayan. Example here sa no commercial substance. So example, PTS company and EXO company exchange equipment. The following data are available on the exchange. Magkano na yung equipment cost? Kay BTS, 500,000. Kay EXO, 300,000. Accumulated depreciation, 300,000. EXO, 50,000. Fair value of the equipment, 180,000. Kay EXO, 220,000. Pero ang cash paid na binigay ni BTS kay EXO ay 50,000 pesos. 50,000 pesos, yeah. Ngayon, kapag sinabing walang commercial substance, yung problem, magsasabi siya. Sasabihin ng problem, the configuration, risk, timing, and amount of the cash flow of the equipment are determined to be insignificant. So yan, kapag sinabing ganyan, kahit sabihin natin, paano yun? Magkaiba naman talaga yung fair value dito. So lumalabas, may commercial substance. Diba? Kaso, may sinabi yung problem. The configuration, risk, timing, and amount of the cash flow of the equipment are determined to be insignificant. So we cannot question the wisdom of the problem. Kasi kung questionin natin yung wisdom ng problem, hindi natin makukuha yung tamang sagot. So susundin natin kung ano yung sinabi nung question. Kukuha po ba? Ngayon, ano kaya yung pwede nating tanong? So similar din, ganun din. Alright, so gayahin natin yung tanong, no? Yung question dito. Naghiwa-hiwalay ulit. Yan na lang. Okay, number 1, ano daw yung how much should BTS record the asset? How much should BTS record the asset? Ikalawa, how much is sorry, is the gain or loss on exchange of BTS. And then number 3, prepare journal entries of the transaction in the books of BTS. And then ganun din. Gayahin na lang natin. Ano daw yung i-record natin sa book? Magkano daw yung cost na i-record sa book ni EXO? How much is the gain or loss in exchange of EXO? And then prepare journal entries in the books of EXO. So, gawin natin tong 4. Okay, 4, 5, and then 6. Okay. So, nakakasunod pa po ba, class? Can you still hear me,
Yes,
class?
sir.
All right. Okay. So, magkano yung cost ng new equipment kay BTS? So, lagay natin dito, ha? Anong sabi anong sabi natin? Anong rule? Record the PPE at the carrying amount of the asset given up. Record the PPE at the carrying amount of the asset given up. So, i-record mo siya. Tapos, if there are any payments, you have to add. So, ano yung ginawa natin dito sa una? Dito sa una, anong basis natin? Fair value of the asset given up. So, papalitan natin na ito, carrying amount of the asset given up. Ito, plus cash payment. So, ganun pa yung mangyayari, ha? Nakakasunod pa ba?
Yes
So,
po.
book value of the asset given up. Magkano yung book value of the asset given up? Balikan natin dito. Magkano dito? 500,000 minus 300,000 pesos accumulated depreciation. So, magkano yung book value?
200,000.
200,000. Then you have to add cash payment. Magkano yung cash payment mo? 50,000 pesos. So, magkano yung total cost ng new equipment mo? Magkano yung total cost ng new equipment? 250,000. So, total cost of new equipment. 250,000 pesos. Nakakasunod pa ba, class? Nakakasunod pa po ba?
Yes po.
So, ang basis natin is book value na, di ba? This is based on the book value kasi walang commercial substance. Pero kapag may commercial substance, your basis will be the fair value. How much is the gain or loss on exchange of BTS? How much is the gain or loss? How much is the gain or loss? Tas, how much is the gain or loss? Ano bang rule? Ano nakasulat dyan? There is no gain or loss on exchange recognized. Nakukuha po ba? So, anong sagot natin dito sa number 2?
None po.
Answer is 0. As there is no gain or loss on exchange of assets that have no commercial substance. Ayan, answer is 0. Now, delete. Prepare journal entries. So, prepare tayo ng journal entries. How do we prepare for the journal entries? Debit, equipment, para sa bago, di ba? Makaka-receive tayo ng bagong equipment. So we have to debit. Magkano yung cost ng new equipment class? Magkano yung
250,000.
250,000 pesos. And then ano pa? Debit,
Accumulated.
depreciation. So you have to debit accumulated depreciation. Magkano po? Balikan yung problem. 300,000 pesos. And then you credit equipment old. Magkano? Magkano yung nasa cost? Nasa books niya? 500,000 pesos. Nakukuha po ba? And then you credit
Cash.
cash. That's correct. Credit cash. Magkano? Magkano ba yung binigay natin?
50,000.
Cash payment? 50,000. Balance na po ba? Balance ba yung total debits nyo?
Yes.
Yes. So that's why there is no gain or loss on exchange of assets kapag walang commercial substance. Nakukuha po ba? Nagigets po ba, class?
Yes po.
Alright. Ngayon, punta naman tayo kay EXO. How much should EXO record the asset? Ano bang rule? I-record mo daw siya based sa carrying value or carrying amount. So, book value of the asset given up. Magkano yung book value of the asset given up ni EXO? Magkano po? Magkano, class? Magkano, class?
250.
250,000 pesos. So that's 250,000 pesos. Then minus
Cash.
receipt. Less cash receipt. Magkano po yung cash na na-receive natin? 50,000 pesos. So magkano yung cost of the new equipment?
200,000.
That's correct. So total cost of new equipment. So lagay ka dito. Total cost of new equipment, that's 200,000 pesos. So that's correct. Yan, okay. So how much should EXO record the asset? Alright, so tama, no? Okay, and then how much is the gain or loss in exchange of asset by the EXO? So lagay natin dito. Anong sagot natin? Kapag walang commercial substance, answer is
Zero.
so zero. All right. And then prepare journal entries. So anong journal entry natin? Debit equipment na bago. Magkano yung value ng equipment na bago? 100,000 pesos. And then debit accumulated depreciation. Magkano yung accumulated depreciation? Tingnan natin doon sa taas. 50,000 pesos. And then may na-receive bang cash? Debit, cash. May na-receive kasi siyang cash. 50,000 pesos. And then you credit equipment. Equipment na luma. Magkano yung yung cost ng equipment na luma? Magkano po, class? Tingnan natin. 300,000 pesos. Balance ba ang inyong books? Ang journal entry?
Yes po.
Yes,
Yes
that's
po.
300,000. So there is no gain or loss. So naiintindihan na po ba yung acquisition of property, plant, and equipment kapag may exchange transaction? So kapag may exchange transaction, dapat munang hanapin meron bang commercial substance. Kung merong commercial substance, record it at fair value and then recognize any gain or loss kung meron man. Tapos kapag walang commercial substance, record it using the carrying value, then walang gain or loss. Nakukuha po ba? Nagigets po ba? Nagigets po ba, class?
Yes.
Alright. So, dito, medyo matagal pa yung exchange of assets, no? So, tapos na tayo sa exchange of asset. Dito naman tayo sa issuance of debt or equity securities. So, number 5 na pala yun. Issuance of debt or equity securities. Lagay natin dito. Number 5. So, how do we acquire asset kapag nag-issue ng debt or equity security? So, asset, alagay na lang natin, PPE. PPE acquired through issuance of equity muna tayo. Equity securities. Yung minsan, may binibili tayo ay may na-acquire tayong property, plant, and equipment pero hindi tayo naglalabas ng pera. Ang nilalabas natin or ini-issue natin, equity. So, ano yung equity shares? Ito yung mga shares of stocks, di ba? Shares of stocks. So, issuance daw. Ang ini-issue mo yung shares of stocks. So, ano yung rule kapag nag-i-issue ka ng shares or equity securities? Ano kaya, class? Anong rule?
Fair value.
You record it at fair value.
Fair value.
Nakukuha po ba? Kaso, we have to record it, merong order. Not totally the fair value. So, ang gagawin natin, record. So, record the cost of PPE in the following order. So, una nating susundin, dapat i-record mo siya based sa fair value of the property or asset received. So, yan yung dapat natin maging basis. So, kapag nag-issue tayo ng shares or equity securities na kung saan makaka-acquire tayo ng property, plant, and equipment, kailangan i-record mo yung property, plant, and equipment based sa fair value ng property or asset na marireceive mo. Halimbawa, bumili ka ng machinery that worth 500,000 pesos. Yun yung fair value niya. Pero wala kang pambili, wala kang pera. Nag-issue ka ng shares of stocks. Yung fair value ng shares of stocks mo is 550,000 pesos. So, ang basis mo para i-record yung property, plant, and equipment, yung fair value mismo ng property, plant, and equipment ng machinery, which is 500,000 pesos. So, regardless kung 550 man yung value ng equity securities mo, susundin mo is fair value ng property, plant, and equipment. Nakukuha po ba? Nagigets po ba? Nakakasunod po ba? So, first basis record the cost of PPE in the following order. Fair value of the property or asset received. Siyempre, dahil magkaiba yung fair value ng shares of stocks or equity securities mo versus sa fair value ng PPE. So, any difference, di ba? Any difference, lagay natin dito, any difference shall be recorded to share premium or share discount. Ayan. Dahil may difference, any difference shall be recorded to share premium or share discount. So, try natin ito mamaya. Ano pa? So, ito yung unang priority Dapat basis mo, fair value. What if walang fair value yung property?
Fair value po ng equity instrument.
That's correct. So, you record it. Kapag walang fair value yung property, you record it at the fair value of the, issued share capital. So, base mo is share capital. Nakukuha po ba? And then any difference, diba? Any difference shall be recorded to share premium or share discount. Ngayon, walang fair value yung property, yung asset. Wala ring fair value yung share capital. Paano natin i-record?
Sa par po or stated value.
That's correct. Par value or stated value of the share capital. Yeah. So, ano hinalang natin? Kukorek ko lang ha. Par value or stated value of the issued share capital. Yeah. Nakukuha po ba? Nagigets po ba? Nagigets
Yes
po ba,
po.
class? Okay, alright. So, itong PPE acquisition through issuance of share of stock, sinusunod natin yung order of priority na to. Order of priority yung tawag natin dito using PFRS 10. So, yung PFRS 10, this is share-based payments. So, sa share-based payments, ganito yung ruling, no? Ang una natin magiging basis, fair value of the property or asset received. Kapag walang fair value yung property or asset, then basis natin is fair value of the issued share capital. Kapag wala ring fair value yung issued share capital, then your basis will be the par value or stated value of the issued share capital. Nakukuha po ba? Nakukuha po ba, class?
Yes po.
All right. Okay. Sige, gawa tayong problem. Gawa tayong problem, ha? Example. Example. Medyo matagal tayo, ha? Okay lang, class?
Yes po.
Yes po.
Okay. All right. So, sabihin natin, ABC Company acquired a tract of land. So, si ABC Company pala, bumili ng tract of land with an existing building in exchange for 20,000 shares. Anong 20,000 shares yon? Ordinary shares. Diba? With 10 peso par value. And with a market price na magkano kaya? Market price of, sabihin natin, 20 pesos per share. So that 20 pesos per share is on the date of acquisition nung binili yung lupa na may kasamang building. So the latest property tax bill indicated an assessed value of 200,000 pesos for the land and 120,000 pesos for the building. So, kapag bumibili tayo ng building o kaya ng land, minsan merong involved na ibang zonal value. So yung zonal value, ito nanggagaling to sa mga taxing authority o kaya sa local government unit, yung munisipyo or city hall. So ito yung sinasabi dito. The latest property tax bill indicated an assessed value. This is the zonal value. Assessed zonal value of 200,000 pesos for the land and 120,000 pesos for the building. So yung zonal value is also a fair value. Kaso iba naman yung dictated zonal value or fair value kaysa sa market dictated fair value. So pag-aaralan nyo rin yan sooner or later. Siguro in the future, pag nakaabot na kayo sa tax nyo, sa taxation. Pero ayun lang, bibigyan ko lang kayo ng idea. However, so lagyan natin ng karugtong. However, the land has a fair value of 550,000 pesos. So ito yung sinasabi ko. Di ba meron siyang assessed value, which is the zonal value. Pero meron daw binigay pa rin market dictated fair value. Magkano daw? 550,000 pesos. Tapos yung building, sabihin natin, and the building, gawa natin siya ng issue. And the building has no determinable fair value. So ito yung ginawa nating problem, no? Yung land may fair value siya na 550,000. And then the building has no determinable fair value. Shortly after the acquisition, the building was raised. So pag sinabi nating raised, the building was raised. Bago ko ito dugtungan, what is raised? So kailangan maintindihan natin kung ano yung problem. Raised. Pag sinabing raised, ibig sabihin, dinemolish, tinanggal. Nakukuha po ba? Nakakasunod pa ba?
Yes
Right.
po.
Okay. Thank you. So, shortly after the acquisition, the building was raised. So, ibig sabihin, binili talaga ng ABC Company yung lupa, hindi yung building. May kasama lang siyang building kasi kung titignan natin yung problem, dinemolish din yung building. So, yung purpose talaga ni ABC Company, yung lupa, hindi yung building. So, wala siyang pakialam sa building, ang pakialam niya, lupa. So, shortly after the acquisition, the building was raised at a cost of 9,000 pesos. 9,000 pesos in anticipation. In anticipation of a new building construction. Alright. So, yan na yung ating transaction. Babasahin ko ulit. ABC Company acquired a tract of land with an existing building in exchange for 20,000 shares with 10 peso par value, as market price niya 20 pesos per share. Latest property tax bill indicated an assessed value of 200,000 pesos for the land and 120,000 pesos for the building. However, the land has a fair value of 550 and the building has a no determinable fair value. Shortly after the acquisition, the building was raised at a cost of 9,000 pesos in anticipation of a new building construction. Now, anong hinahanap natin? Determine the cost to be assigned to land. So, hanapin natin kung magkano yung cost ng land. So, kapag equity payments, di ba? Equities instrument or equity securities. Ang binayad mo through PPE, ano yung rule natin? Una, fair value of the property or asset received. Kapag walang ganyan, fair value of the issued capital. Kapag wala rin yan, par value or stated value of the issued capital. Balikan natin yung problem. Binigay ba yung fair value nung property? Binigay po ba yung fair value ng property? Hello? Hi class, napapakinggan pa ba ako?
Yes po.
Binigay po ba?
Meron po.
Binigay.
Yes.
Magkano? 550,000 pesos. Nakukuha po ba? So that's
Yes.
550,000 pesos. Ngayon, di ba may sinabi ako, yung building daw tinanggal. Kapag tinanggal ang building, ibig sabihin si ABC Company, ang purpose niya, bibilhin lang niya yung lupa. Wala siyang pakialam sa building. Kasi nakasama lang yung building, pero ang gusto niya, yung lupa yung bibilhin niya. So kapag nabili niya na yung lupa, ano mangyayari sa building? Tatanggalin niya. May nagastos ba siya sa pagtanggal ng building?
Yes po.
Yes. Magkano po?
9,000.
9,000 pesos. So naka-incur siya ng cost, 9,000 pesos nung tinanggal ang building. So, itong cost na to is that incidental cost para makuha niya yung land. para magamit niya yung land for intended use ng land niya.
Yes.
Yes. So this will be included as part ng cost ng land, yung 9,000 pesos. So what will be the cost of the land? So our basis will be fair value. So land at fair value, magkano po? 550,000 pesos.
550,000.
That's correct. 550,000 pesos. Add cost of raising old building. Magkano yung cost of raising the old building? 9,000 pesos. So this is the incidental cost, di ba? Incidental cost. 9,000 pesos. So magkano ang total value ng building? Ng building, ng land. Magkano yung total value ng land? Total cost of land. Magkano po? 559,000 pesos. May question po ba dito? May question ba, class? Pwedeng magtanong. Wala po ba? Class, wala po ba?
Wala na po.
Wala. Okay. So bago tayo lumipat sa ibang scenario, gawa tayo ng journal entry. So what will be your journal entry? Debit?
Land.
Land. So you land, magkano yung value ng land mo? 559,000 pesos. Nakukuha po ba? Debit land, 559,000 pesos. You credit. Credit. Meron ka bang nilabas? Cash. 9,000 pesos. Tama ba? Diba naglabas ka ng cash? Kasi ni-raise mo yung old building. So 9,000 pesos. And then you credit ordinary shares. Magkano yung ordinary shares mo? Ilan ba yung in-issue mong shares? 20,000 pesos. At 20,000 shares multiplied by 10 peso par value. Magkano yon?
200,000.
200,000 pesos. Balance na po ba?
Hindi pa po.
Hindi pa. So anong sabi natin? Any difference will be recorded to share premium or share discount. Nakukuha po ba? May sobra po ba or may kulang?
Kulang.
Sobra po ba yung value ng land versus dito sa
Sobra.
ordinary share? Sobra. So any excess will be accredited to share premium. So magkano yung excess? 350,000 pesos. Nakukuha po ba? Nagigets po ba?
Yes po.
Yes po.
Alright. Okay, so next, let's move on to next. Number 6. PPE acquired through issuance of debt securities. Ano naman yung debt securities? Ano yung debt securities, class? Kanina, equity securities. Pag equity securities, mga shares of stocks. Pag debt securities, ano yung debt securities? Bonds. Ano
Bonds.
yung mga example ng debt securities? Sana ano yung mga example ng equity securities? Bonds.
Mortgage.
Yes. Diba? Mortgage. Ano pa?
Treasury bills.
So, here, gawin na lang natin bonds na lang muna. So, pag-aralan natin yung mga debt securities in the future pag nandun na tayo sa security investments. So, here, PPE acquired through issuance of debt securities. So ano yung rule kapag nag-acquire tayo ng property, plant, and equipment, pero debt securities yung ginamit natin? Anong rule? Dito na balikan natin yung yung equity securities. Anong rule? Una, fair value of the property or asset received. Pangalawa, fair value of the issued share capital kapag walang fair value si property or asset. Kapag wala namang fair value si share capital, basis na lang natin par value or stated value of the issued share capital. Ano naman kay debt securities? Ano yung rule?
Fair value of bonds payable.
Ano po? Ano po kaya? Ano po, class?
Fair value po ng bonds payable.
That's correct. That's correct, class. So, una, meron tayong order of priority, ha? Order of priority. So, here we have order of priority. Gayahin natin kung ano yung nakasulat dun sa taas. And record the cost of PPE in the following order. So, para pare-pare. Record the cost of PPE in the following order. Una, fair value of the debt securities. So, dun sa equity securities, ang una mong susundin, fair value of the property, di ba? Or the asset. Saka sumunod yung fair value ng equity securities. Ngayon, dito naman, kapag debt securities ang inisyu mo, ang una mong susundin, fair value of the debt securities issued, no? Debt securities issued. Kapag walang fair value yung debt securities issued, your basis will be fair value of the property or asset received. And then ikatlo, face value of the debt securities issued. So ito yung order of priority naman natin kapag debt securities. So fair value of the debt securities issued, fair value of the property or asset received, and then face value of the debt securities issued. Naiintindihan po ba, class? Naiintindihan po ba, class?
Yes po.
All right. Okay, class. Bakit kaya? Bakit ito? Bakit una ang debt securities natin? Bakit mauna ang debt securities? Bakit kaya? Sige, class. Bakit? Bakit debt securities? Isipin na maigi, class. Isipin kung ano yung napag-aralan natin sa conceptual framework. Kasi kung babalikan natin dito sa may sa may equity securities, magkaiba, di ba? Ang unang priority, fair value ng property or asset received. Kapag wala yan, fair value of the issued share capital. Kapag wala rin yan, par value or stated value of the issued share capital. Ngayon, kapag ang in-issue mo naman, debt securities, iba yung order of priority. Dapat yung basis mo muna, debt securities. Kapag walang fair value in debt securities, fair value ng property or asset received. Kapag wala rin yan, face value of the debt securities issued. Bakit kaya? Kasi anong sabi ng mga accounting standard? Meron kasing sinabi si IAS or si PAS 16. Meron din sinabi si PFRS 9. Meron din sinabi si PFRS 13. Kung bakit dapat debt securities ang i-issue. Balikan, isa-isahin natin. Ano yung sabi ni PAS 16? Sino ba si PAS 16? Property, plant, and equipment. Anong sabi ni PAS 16 or property, plant, and equipment pagdating dito? Anong sabi niya? The cost of an item. The cost of an item of property, plant, and equipment is the cash price equivalent. Diba? It's the cash price equivalent at the recognition date. Ito yung sinabi ni property, plant, and equipment. Ang cost daw ng item ng property, plant, and equipment is the cash price equivalent. On which, on this case, the fair value of the debt securities is the cash price equivalent. Kaya dapat unahin ang fair value ng debt securities issue. Ngayon, i-check natin kung tugma ba sa sinasabi ni PFRS 9. Sino naman si PFRS 9? Naalala pa po ba si PFRS 9? Si PFRS 9, siya yung financial instrument. Diba? Anong sabi ni financial instruments? Si PFRS 9. Ano sabi? Ang sabi ni PFRS 9, the fair value of the financial instrument. So the fair value of the financial instrument at initial recognition is normally the transaction price. So yun sinasabi ni PFRS 9. The fair value of the financial instrument at initial recognition is normally the transaction price. So in this case, the debt security is a financial instrument. Di ba? Napag-oralan natin to sa financial instrument nung nakaraan. Debt security is a financial instrument. Ano sabi ni PFRS 9? Kung ano yung fair value ni financial instrument, yun yung transaction price. So, ibig sabihin, kung magkano yung fair value ng financial instrument mo, that is the value to be assigned to the property or asset received. Nakukuha po ba? Nakakasunod pa ba? Nakakasunod pa ba?
Yes po.
Alright. And then, ano naman sinabi ni PFRS 13? Sino naman si PFRS 13? Fair value measurement. Anong sabi ni PFRS 13? Pagdating dito. Anong sabi ni PFRS 13? Transaction price is the price paid to acquire the asset. Diba? To acquire the asset or receive, to assume the liability. Ito yung sinabi ni fair value measurement. So, transaction price is the price paid para ma-acquire yung asset. So, tumutugma siya. Kung yung financial instrument, yung fair value niya is the transaction price, ang sabi naman ni PFRS 13, yung transaction price, yun yung binayad mo para ma-acquire yung asset. Kaya ang sabi ni PAS 16, dapat yun yung cash price equivalent, yun yung cost para i-record mo yung property, plant, and equipment. So kaya dapat unahin natin i-record using the debt securities issue. So imagine niyo yung order of priority pala na to, may basis talaga siya, accounting standards natin. So dapat hindi natin baliwalain yung mga accounting standards natin. Nakukuha po ba? Nagigets po ba, class?
Yes.
Alright. So here, madali na lang ito sa inyo, yung bonds. Gusto niyo pa bang gawa ng problem or hindi na? Gusto pa ba gawa ng problem? So ganito, class, ha? Magbibigay din ako ng handouts for property, plant, and equipment. Send ko mamaya. So try nyo. So hindi ko muna kayo bibigyan ng ganitong problem. Pero follow the order of priority pagdating sa issuance ng debt securities when you acquire property, plant, and equipment. So next, Next, mode of acquisition. Tingnan natin. Tingnan natin dito. Donation muna tayo. Sa donation. So, through donation. Sa donation, may tatlong klase. Donated by a shareholder. So when it is donated by a shareholder, if PPE is donated by a shareholder, again natin dito, if property, plant, and equipment is donated by a shareholder, ano yung basis natin? Anong basis natin, class? Basis will be the fair value of the property donated. Nakukuha po ba? Your basis will be the fair value of the property donated. Then, credit to donated capital. Nakukuha po ba? So, bigay tayong example. Example. A shareholder, so a shareholder donated. Lagyan natin dito, a shareholder donated a tract of land that valued at 10 million pesos to DEF Corporation. So, a shareholder donated a tract of land that valued 10 million pesos to DEF Corporation. So, what will be your entry? Debit. Debit. Can you still hear me, class?
Yes po.
Debit. Land. Magkano? 10 million pesos. Dagdagan natin. 10 million pesos. And then you credit. What will be your credit entry? Donated capital. So, kapag donated capital, that is a share premium din. So, special account siya na share premium, donated capital ang tawag. 10 million pesos. Nakukuha po ba? Nagigets po ba, class?
Yes po.
Alright. Paano kapag walang fair value yung property? Paano kapag walang fair value yung property? Ano kaya magiging basis natin kapag walang fair value yung property? Basis will be the cost of the property. Diba? Cost of the property or book value of the property donated. So normally, bibihira lang yan yung kung walang fair value yung property. So it could be kapag walang fair value, your basis will be the cost of the property or book value of the property donated. Nakukuha po ba, class? Nagets po ba?
Yes po.
Okay. Question. Next scenario. What if the PPE is donated by a third party? Wala lang. Parang galing sa iba. Third party individual. Yan. Individual. Galing siya sa iba, hindi siya shareholder. What will be your basis? Fair value of the property donated. So, your basis to record the cost of the property, plant, and equipment will be the fair value of the property donated. Nakukuha po ba? Nagigets po ba? Nagigets po ba, class?
Yes po.
Alright. Now,
Yes.
kung kay shareholder, i-credit mo sa donated capital. Kapag third party, you credit it to income. So, credit to income. Nagigets po ba? Nagigets po ba? Nagigets po ba, class? Alright. So, bigay tayo ng
Yes
example. Example tayo, ha? So, dito, imbis na sa shareholder, Mr. Santos, a philanthropist. So, a philanthropist, yan, a philanthropist donated a tract of land that valued 10 million pesos to DEF Corporation. So what will be your entry? Debit, land, and then credit, income.
Unearned
Income
income.
from donation. Nakukuha po ba? Nagigets po ba, class? So this is an outright income. Ngayon, meron ibang cases kung saan hindi siya nire-record as outright income. Bakit siya hindi nire-record as outright income? Kapag si PPE na dinonate ni third party, may condition si third party individual. Sabihin natin, if PPE is donated by a third party individual but with a condition, diba? So, this one, ayan. Mr. Santos, a philanthropist, donated a tract of land that valued 10 million pesos to DEF Corporation. Diba? Lagyan natin ng karugtong na scenario yung problem. Provided DEF Corporation will construct a highway, diba? A highway across the land, diba? The land, the tract of land. The tract of land. So, nag-donate siya, provided DEF Corporation will construct a highway across the tract of land in order to fully transfer the property to DEF Corporation. So, nag-donate daw si Mr. Santos ng tract of land worth 10 million pesos kay DEF Corporation. Anong sabi ni Mr. Santos? I-donate ko to sa inyo, matatransfer to sa inyo kapag gumawa kayo ng highway doon sa dinonate kong lupa. So, what will be the entry? Una, debit, land. Magkano? 10 million pesos. And then you credit unearned income. Diba? Unearned income from donation. 10 million pesos. So, yan po yun. Ngayon, assuming that the conditions have been met. Diba? So, in this case, nagawa na yung highway. Na-construct na yung highway. So, ibig sabihin, na-fulfill na yung condition. So, in this case, you have to recognize now the income. Debit unearned income from donation. Magkano po yun? 10 million pesos. And then you credit income from donation. Magkano po? 10 million pesos. Nakakasunod po ba? Nagigets po ba? Nakakasunod pa po ba, class?
Yes po.
Alright. So, do you have any question? Kapag may condition, you cannot record automatically the donation by a third party as an outright income. Kailangan ma-meet muna yung condition. Nakukuha po ba? Nagigets po ba? Nagigets po ba, class?
Yes po.
Okay. Yan. Now, so ganun po yun. Ngayon, sa donation na to, so okay na tayo. Donation by a shareholder, by a third party. Donation naman coming from a government. So, ito yung government grants. Yung tinatawag natin. If PPE is donated by the government. So, lagyan natin dito, government. So, ito yung government grants. Kapag yung PPE dinonate ng government, ganun din. Your basis will be the fair value. Basis to record, the PPE should be the fair value of the property or asset received. Diba? Then, dapat i-check mo, meron bang condition? Lagi mo, is there a condition? Kung may condition, record a credit entry to unearned income. Then, kapag na-fulfill mo na yung condition, then, you can record it now to income. Nakukuha po ba? Kapag walang condition, is there a no condition? Wala po bang condition? Then, record a credit entry to outright income. So, yun po yan. What will be your basis to record the PPE? Fair value of the property or asset received. Is there a condition to record a credit entry? Is there a condition? If yes, record credit entry to unearned income. Is there a no condition? Yes, record a credit entry to outright income. Nakukuha po ba? Nagigets po ba, class? Nagigets po ba, class?
Yes.
Yes po.
Okay. Only government assistance. Only government assistance. Kapag only government assistance, disclosure only. So disclose only the government assistance. So pag government grants, you have to record it on your financial statement. Kapag government assistance, you just disclose the government assistance. So, kuha po ba? Nakukuha po ba? Nagigets
Yes po.
Alright. Okay, so we're done with the modes of acquiring the PPE. May huli na lang tayo, si borrowing cost. Pero i-discuss natin siya later pa. Dito muna, mag-discuss na tayo regarding sa cost, individual cost of PPE. So, individual cost of PPE. So, lagay ko ulit dito ha. Sorry class, medyo matagal lang. So, individual cost of property. Nababasa pa po ba? Plant and equipment. Nababasa pa po ba, class?
Yes. Yes po.
Okay. Individual cost of property, plant, and equipment. Yung napag-aralan natin the last time, yung last meeting, yung initial measurement of property, plant, and equipment under IAS 16 or PAS 16 is based on the cost or historical cost, on which the component of the cost includes the purchase price, import duties, and non-refundable purchase taxes, and then other directly attributable costs, which includes the incidental costs saka other necessary costs. So, nandito na rin yung specific other directly attributable costs, di ba? Ngayon, minsan, merong mga individual assets under property, plant, and equipment na may mga specialized cost. So, kailangan i-identify natin kung part ba siya ng cost na yon, ng item ng PPE na yon. Normally, kung cost ba siya ng land, kung cost ba siya ng building, o cost ba siya ng machinery. Nakakasunod pa ba, class?
Yes.
Pa po ba? Alright. Okay, so pasensya na, medyo matagal lang tayo. Gawin natin to. Alright. Ayan. So sa land, minsan sa land, kapag nag-acquire tayo ng land, may mga nagagastos pa tayong iba doon. Diba, Yung halimbawa, si mommy at daddy nyo, si nanay, si tatay, bibili ng lupa. Hindi mo lang yun bibilihin ng basta-basta eh. Meron ka pang magagastos na ibang gastusin para ma-transfer sa iyo yung sa family mo yung lupa. 'Di ba? So ano yung mga normal cost ng land? Ano yung mga normal cost ng land? Purchase price. Diba? So purchase price of the land. So that will be form part of the cost of the land. Nakukuha po ba? Nagigets po ba, class?
Yes po.
Alright. So
Yes po.
mag-insert lang ako ng symbol ha. Insert ako ng symbol. Lagyan natin, hanap tayo ng check mark. Check mark ba dito? Alright. Okay. Check mark. Check. Okay. Wait lang class ha. So hanap lang ako ng check mark dito sa internet. Google. Google. Check mark. Yan. Okay. So purchase price of the cost of the land. So lagyan na lang natin okay na lang. Okay. Okay. Alright. Home center. Okay. So include. Lagyan na, include na lang pala. Include. So purchase price of the cost of the land. Minsan, syempre sa purchase price, sa pagbibili ng land, ng lupa, minsan kailangan natin i-check kung okay ba yung quality ng lupa, pwede bang tayuan ng building, pwede bang tayuan ng bahay. So isa-survey natin, 'di ba? Survey. Isa-survey natin yung land. So meron tayong mai-incur na survey cost. So yung survey cost will be included as part of the cost of the land. Ano pa? Meron pa tayong nagagastos. Syempre kapag binili natin yung lupa, hindi yan at agad-agad
Title
nata-transfer.
transfer.
Yes po, tama po. So hindi agad-agad nata-transfer yung title. So meron tayong cost to register the land and other cost of transferring the title. Transferring the title. So, ayan po yun. So, we have to include that as part of the cost of the land. Ano pa kaya? Meron tayong nai-incur na legal fees. Siyempre, kapag magpapatransfer ka, kailangan mo magpanotaryo, kailangan mo minsan magbayad sa attorney, baka kasi merong nagre-reklamo, oh hindi, bakit nyo binili ang lupa? Sa amin dapat yan, ganito, ganyan. So, yung any legal fees na may incur mo, ipapatong mo as part of the cost of the land. So, legal fees and other expenditure. So, you have to include that as part of the cost of the land. Ano pa kaya? Commission. So, commission paid to brokers, di ba? To brokers or agents. Minsan kapag bumili kayong lupa, may mga real estate broker doon. So, syempre, kapag nagbenta sila ng lupa sa iyo, you have to pay also the commission. So, depende kung sino yung magbabayad, kung si seller or si buyer. So, may case na si buyer yung magbabayad ng commission kay broker or agent, then you have to include that as part of the cost of the land. And then, cost of clearing unwanted old structures. Diba katulad kanina, bumili si company ng lupa. Merong old building. Kaso, ang purpose pala niya, bibilhin ko lang yung lupa, yung old building na yan, since kasama, okay na yon. Ang gagawin niya, pag nabili niya na yung lupa, aalisin niya yung building. So, may mai-incur siyang cost sa pagtanggal, pag-raise ng building, pagtanggal ng kung ano-ano mga bagay doon sa lupa. So, any cost of clearing unwanted old structure, you have to include that as part of the cost of the building. Nakukuha po ba? Nakakasunod po ba?
Yes po.
Alright. Ano pa?
Mga mortgage po, sir, and back
Yes,
taxes.
that's correct. So, mortgages, so mortgages, encumbrances, diba? Encumbrances, ano pa? Um, and interest, diba? And interests. So, mortgages, encumbrances, and interests assumed by the buyer. Kapag inassume ni buyer yung mortgages, encumbrances, saka interest, dapat isama mo yung binayad mo doon as part of the cost of the land. Pero kung hindi mo siya inassume, kung ikaw yung bibili, hindi mo naman inassume, ay may mortgage pala yan eh, dapat bayaran muna ni seller, di ba? So kung hindi mo inassume yon, hindi mo siya isasama as part of the cost of the land. Pero kung inassume mo, sige, sasaluhin ko na yung mortgage para makuha ko na yung title. So isama mo yan as part of the cost of the land. Ano pa kaya? Unpaid real property taxes. Unpaid real property taxes on the land. Unpaid real property taxes on the land, isasama mo. Kasi may unpaid real property taxes sa building. So, iba naman yon, pang-building yon. And this one, for land. Tapos meron pang payments to tenants. Minsan, di ba, kapag may nabili kang property, may mga nakatira. Tama ba yon? May nabili kang property, isang malaking lupa. Kaso yung lupa na nabili mo, may mga nakasquat na mga tao, mga pamilya, marami. Ngayon, syempre, hindi yan basta-basta aalis. Sabihin nila, dito na ako lumaki. Dito na kami lumaki, dito na ako nagkaanak. Bakit nyo kami papaalisin? May karapatan kami dito. So, ikaw, bago ka lang bumili. Mas matagal na kami dito, mas may karapatan kami. So, mahihirapan ka paalisin. Unless na lang babayaran mo sila. Nakukuha po ba? So, yung cost nung pagbabayad doon sa mga tao na nandoon, isasama mo as part ng cost ng lupa. Nagigets po ba, class?
Yes,
sir.
Alright. So, ayusin ko lang. So, include. Alright. Nagigets po ba, class? Ngayon, minsan, yung iba, ang sabi nila, yung mga nakatira doon, mga nakasquat, ay, ako bayaran nyo kami, ilipat nyo kami sa mas magandang lugar, mas maayos na tirahan. Kaya babayaran nyo kami, uubos lang namin yung pera na yan. So, yung iba, hindi mo sila babayaran. Magpapatayo ka na mga maliliit na kabahayan. So, yung cost, di ba? Cost na nagastos mo, cost to relocate, di ba? Cost to relocate or reconstruct property of others, di ba? Property of others occupying the land. Isasama mo yun. So you have to include that as part of the cost of the land. Ano pa kaya?
Local assessment po sa street sidewalks.
Local assessment sa street sidewalk. So ano kaya yung yung mga street sidewalks na yun? Pag local, ano kaya yung example na yon? Sige, ipaliwanag sa akin. Okay lang, sige. Yung local assessment na yon, ang tinatawag natin doon, special assessment. So, any special assessment will be capitalizable as part of the cost of the land. Nakukuha po ba? Nagigets po ba? Nakukuha po ba, class?
Yes po.
Alright. Ano pa kaya? Meron tayong tinatawag na option cost. Ano kaya yung option cost? Yung option cost, ito yung ibinabayad mo muna doon sa unang may-ari ng lupa na, Oy, eto bayad ko muna to sa'yo ha. Hindi mo siya pwedeng ibenta sa iba. So, option cost yon. Yun yung tawag doon. Parang reservation, di ba? Bayad ko muna to sa'yo ha. Hindi mo yan pwedeng ibenta sa iba. Ngayon, kapag hindi ko siya nabili, hindi ko siya bibilin, hindi ko na yan kukunin. So, option cost ang tawag doon. Ngayon, kapag kinuha mo siya, yung option cost, ilalagay mo as part of the cost of the land. Nakukuha po ba? Nakakasunod po ba?
Yes po.
Alright. So, yung option cost, iba yon sa down payment. Minsan yung iba, sabihin nila, magbabayad muna ako nito, 50,000 pesos. Down payment ko yan ha. Iba yung down payment. Yung iba naman, option cost. Parang reservation. So, yan po yan. Alright. And then, meron pa tayong tinatawag na cost of permanent improvement, such as draining, so draining cost, cost of filling the land, cost of grading and leveling. So yung cost of permanent improvement, such as draining cost, yung pagpapalagay ng kanal, cost of filling the land, kapag hindi pantay-pantay yung lupa nung lupain na nabili mo, magtatambak ka, di ba? Filling the land. And then cost of grading and leveling, syempre kapag masyadong mataas yung isang bahagi, ang gagawin mo, tatabasan or ile-level, i-grade yung lupa. So, ilalagay mo yun as part of the cost of the land. So, any cost na may incur mo related dito, that will be included as part of the cost of the land. Nakukuha po ba? Nagigets po ba, class? Nakukuha po ba?
Yes po.
Alright.
Yes po.
Alright. Ano pa kaya? Ano pa kaya pwedeng isama dito? Naisip natin.
Title insurance premium, sir.
Title insurance premium. Title insurance premium. Kapag yung title insurance premium na incur mo siya before sa pagbili. Kapag habang binibili mo yung lupa na incur mo tong title insurance premium, you have to include it as part of the cost of the land. However, any insurance premium paid after acquiring the title, the land title, hindi mo siya isasama. Nakukuha po ba? Nagigets po ba, class?
Yes po.
All right. Okay, class. So these are the examples of the cost to be included as part of the cost of the land. So, okay, ayusin ko lang muna. Freeze panes. Okay, yan. So these are the costs, di ba? So, summarize ulit natin. Purchase price, survey cost, cost to register the land and other costs of transferring the title, legal fees and other expenditure, commissions paid to brokers or agents, cost of clearing unwanted old structures, mortgage encumbrances and interest assumed by the buyer, unpaid real property taxes on the land, payments to tenants to vacate the premises, cost to relocate or reconstruct property of others. So ayusin natin to, property of others, occupying the land, special assessment, option cost, cost of permanent improvement such as draining cost, cost of filling the land, and cost of grading and leveling. And then title insurance premium that you paid before or during the acquisition of the land. So any title insurance premium paid after the acquisition of the land, expense na po yun. So sa building naman, ano naman yung dapat sa building?
Purchase price.
Purchase price, that's correct. So, okay. So, pasensya na ulit. Ayan. Purchase price. So, lagay natin dito. Purchase price. Okay. So, yan. Purchase price. Pag purchase price of the land, then sa land. Pag purchase price ng building, then you include it as part of the cost of the building. Nagigets po ba?
Yes po.
All right. And then legal fees and other expenditures na related doon sa pag-purchase ng building, isasama mo. Nakukuha po ba? Huwag kayo malilito ha dito. Legal fees and other expenditure na na-incur mo sa pag-purchase ng land, pang land yon. Pero pag pang building yon. Ano pa kaya? Liabilities assumed. So, any mortgages, encumbrances, and interest assumed by the buyer. Kapag related sa building, mortgage related sa building, ilagay mo yung payment mo for the mortgage as part of the cost of the building. Kung mortgage siya related sa land, any payment for the mortgage assumed, ilagay mo as part of the cost of the land. Nakukuha po ba?
Commission, sir.
Commission, yes. Siyempre, any commissions paid to brokers or agents related sa pagbenta sa iyo ng building, then you have to include it as part of the cost of the building. Nakukuha po ba? Ano pa?
Repair and remodeling cost.
Yes, that's correct. So, remodeling cost. Since wala siya dyan sa taas, lagay natin dito. Cost of remodeling. Bakit ba natin nire-remodel? Or nire-renovate? Cost of remodeling and renovation cost. Bakit natin nire-remodel or nire-renovate yung building? Para maging suitable ulit siya, para pwedeng matirhan. Kasi kung hindi na siya suitable, hindi na natin siya pwedeng tirhan. So, kailangan i-retrofit, i-remodel, i-renovate. So, any cost of remodeling and renovation on the building, so on the building to make it suitable for its intended use, dapat ilagay mo siya as part of the cost of the building. Nakukuha po ba? Nagigets po ba, class? Nagigets po ba, class?
Yes, sir.
All right. Ano pa? Any cost involved for payment to tenants to vacate the premises. Minsan may mabibili kang building, kaso meron dong mga tenants, mga nakatira, mga gumagamit ng building. Kaso yung building na binili mo, kaya mo nga siya binili kasi may paggagamitan ka. So babayaran mo yung mga tao na nandoon para umalis na. So any payments or cost paid to tenants to vacate the premises of the building will be included as part of the cost of the building. Nakukuha po ba? Nagigets po ba?
Yes po.
Alright. Now, meron pa tayong ibang cost. Meron tayong fences, di ba? Fences. Ano yung fences? Bakod, di ba? Mga kabakuran, ganito, ganyan. Water systems. Yung mga tubo ng tubig, di ba? Nasa ilalim ng lupa. Ano pa kaya? Drainage systems. Sidewalks. Pavements. Landscaping. Yan. So, ito class, ano yung fences? Bakod, water systems, ito yung mga tubo na nandoon sa ilalim ng lupa hanggang nasa loob ng building, drainage systems, sidewalks, pavements, landscaping. Kapag ito, lahat ng yan nakasama sa blueprint. Ano yung blueprint? Ito yung structure, yung parang papel ng structure ng building, isasama mo siya as part ng cost ng building. Kapag nag-construct ka. Pero kapag wala naman, hindi siya kasama as part ng blueprint ng building, ilagay mo siya as part ng cost ng land. Nakukuha po ba? Nagigets po ba, class?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, particularly, gawin na lang natin. So, include mo siya as part of the cost of the land, pero ilalagay mo siya as depreciable. So, include depreciable siya. Depreciable as part of land improvements. So, yung ibang company, yung ibang business, ang ginagawa nila, hindi nila nilalagay as part ng cost ng land, ilalagay nila as separately, land improvements. So, ganito na lang gawin natin. Lagay tayo ng isa pang line item, land improvements. So, this one, okay, land improvements. Okay. Okay. Yan. So, sa land improvements, ito yon. Lagay natin siya dito. Include. Kapag walang blueprint, hindi siya kasama sa blueprint, land improvements. So, no blueprint. So, land improvements. So, ano pa yung mga sinasama sa cost ng building? Ano pa yung sinasama sa cost ng building? Kapag ikaw yung nag-construct ng building, yung company yung nag-construct ng building, then the construction cost, isasama mo as part ng cost ng building. Ano yung mga construction cost doon? Materials, labor, overhead related doon sa construction. So, ilagay mo siya as part ng cost ng building. Ano pa? Sasama. Building, permit, and licenses. So you have to include it as well. Ano pa? Architects' fees.
Sir, cost of excavation po.
Cost of exploration. Tama po ba?
Yes, sir.
Cost of exploration. So yung cost of exploration class, kapag ang cost of exploration kasama sa blueprint. So included in the blueprint or part ng construction, include mo siya sa building. Pero kapag wala siya sa blueprint, yung cost of exploration mo will be form part of the land. Yan po yun. Pag kasama sa blueprint, building. Kapag hindi, land. Ano pa po ba?
Safety and inspection, sir.
Safety and
Fee po.
safety
Safety
and
inspection fee po.
tama ba? Safety.
Inspection fee po.
Yes, that's correct. Safety and inspection fee. So kasama yun, di ba? Part yan ng building permit. So lagay mo siya as part of the cost of the building. Ano pa? Excavation cost. Ano yung excavation cost? Ito yung naghuhukay na ng lupa para itayo yung building. So any excavation cost, kasi ano ba yung purpose ng excavation cost? Para tayuan ng poste ng building. So ilalagay mo siya as part, as part of the cost of the building. Ano pa kaya? Cost of security fences. Di ba kapag nagtatayo tayo ng building, nakikita niyo dyan sa EDSA, pag may kinonstruct na building, di ba may mga bakod para hindi, sorry. Okay, class. So sa EDSA, di ba? May nakikita kayo mga building na kinoconstruct, mga condominiums. Di ba may mga bakod doon? Nakikita niyo po ba yon?
Yes, sir.
Alright. Yun yung mga security fences. Ngayon, yung gastos para sa security fences, dapat isama mo siya sa cost ng building. Nakukuha po ba? Ano pa kaya? Ano pang nakikita natin? borrowing cost. So borrowing cost related to a qualifying asset, isasama mo siya as part ng cost ng building. So kapag kinonstruct mo yung building, minsan wala tayong pera pang construct, mangungutang tayo. So any borrowing cost, yung interest cost na ma-incur mo for a qualifying asset, since building is a qualifying asset, di ba? Hindi siya kayang itayo sa isang taon lang. So matagal siyang itayo, like condominium. Any borrowing cost will be included as part of the cost of the building. So mamaya pag-aaralan natin or sa susunod or last day na pala natin. So try natin kung kakayanin. So borrowing costs related to qualifying asset will be included as part of the cost of the building. Ano pa kaya? Meron pa po ba? Cost of demolishing. No? Cost of demolishing the old building. So, yung cost ng demolish ng old building, ilalagay mo siya as part of cost of the new building. Nakukuha po ba? Kaso class ha, minsan, kapag bibili ka ng lupa, di ba may old building doon? Tapos, yung building na yon, yung old building na yon, i-demolish mo. Bakit mo siya i-demolish? Kasi yung purpose mo, para magamit yung lupa. Kapag yung purpose mo para magamit yung lupa, ilalagay mo yung cost of demolishing doon sa lupa. Pero kung ang cost ng pag-demolish mo ng old building para magpatayo ng bagong building, yun talaga yung pinaka-purpose mo, bakit mo i-demolish yung old building, ilalagay mo siya as part of the cost of the new building, yung demolishing cost. Nakukuha po ba? Halimbawa, one scenario. Unang scenario, bumili ka ng lupa na may old building. Kaya mo binili yung lupa na may old building kasi magpapatayo ka ng bagong building. And then demolish mo na yung old building. Saan mo siya ilalagay? Sa lupa o sa building?
Building.
Answer, sa lupa. Hindi siya sa building. Bakit sa lupa? Kasi yung purpose mo para bilhin yung lupa, magtayo ng new building. So wala kang pakialam sa old building na nandoon. So i-demolish mo talaga siya para magtayo ng new building. So yung cost of demolishing ng old building, ilalagay mo siya as part ng cost ng lupa. Ngayon, another question naman. Bumili ka ng lupa, may old building. So binili mo siya. Ginamit mo yung old building after so many years. Ngayon, sabi mo, ay gusto ko na ng bagong building. So, i-demolish mo na yung old building. Demolish mo siya. Magpapatayo ka ng new building. Saan mo siya ilalagay? Land or building?
Building.
Building. So, sa building na siya. Kasi ano yung purpose mo? Bakit mo i-demolish yung old building? Kasi naisip mo, magpapatayo ka na ng new building. So, ganun po yun. Nakukuha po ba? So, ulitin ko ulit
Yes,
yung
sir.
tanong. Ha? Ulitin ko yung tanong. Land, bumili ka ng land, may old building. Bakit mo binili yung land? Kasi magpapatayo ka ng new building. So, anong ginawa mo sa old building? Dinemolish mo. Saan mo siya ilalagay? Land or new building?
Land po, sir.
Land. Kasi yung purpose mo sa land na yon, ano bang intended use mo sa land? Para magpatayo ng new building. Eh kaso may old building doon. Anong gagawin mo sa old building? I-demolish mo. So, yun yung intended use ng land para magtayo ng new building. So, any unnecessary cost, any unnecessary structures na nandun sa land, pag dinemolish mo, ilalagay mo sa land. Pero kapag bumili ka ng land, may old structure, tapos after ilang years, hindi mo siya giniba, tapos naisip mo, ay magpapatayo ako ng bagong building. So, giniba mo na yung old building. Ano ba yung purpose? Bakit mo giniba yung old building na yon? Para magpatayo na kasi ng bagong building. So, ilalagay mo siya naman as part ng cost ng building. So, analyze lang natin siya ng maigi. Ganun lang po siya. Do you still have any more question? You have question, class? So, ganun po yung class, ha?
Okay, sir.
Alright. Basta ano, ang pinaka key concept natin dito, kapag dinemolish mo ang building doon agad-agad, diba, binili mo siya na ngayon taon, tapos dinemolish mo agad ngayon taon, lagay mo siya as part ng cost ng land. Pero kung hindi mo siya dinemolish agad-agad, the following year or susunod pang taon, then sa building yun. Kasi hindi mo naman talaga intention i-demolish yung building noon nung binili mo yung land. So, ganun lang yon. So, para hindi tayo malito. Okay, sa machinery naman, ano kaya yung mga cost na kasama sa machinery? Purchase price, di ba? So, yung purchase price, isasama mo siya as part ng cost ng machinery. Ano pa kaya?
Insurance po while in transit.
That's correct. So, insurance while in transit. Lagay natin dito sa baba. Insurance while in transit. So, ito yung diniscuss ko the last time, di ba? Yung ating other directly attributable cost, yung insurance cost. So, habang nasa biyahe pa siya, so, di ba? So, to bring the asset to its present location and condition, any cost, directly attributable cost, ilalagay mo siya as part of the cost of the asset. Ano pa kaya? Freight, di ba? Freight, handling, storage, and other related cost. Lalagay mo siya as part ng cost ng machinery. Ano pa kaya?
Installation cost po.
Correct. Installation cost, including site preparation and assembling. So, assembling cost kasama rin. Installation cost including site preparation and assembling, ilagay mo siya as part ng cost ng machinery. Ano pa? We have
Testing cost po.
testing cost. That's correct. Testing and trial run cost. So, trial run cost, ilagay mo siya as part ng cost ng machinery. Meron pa po ba? Meron pa po ba?
Cost of accessories po, sir.
Cost of
Accessories needed po.
okay, tama. Cost of accessories needed for the machinery to fully operate. So, isasama mo yon. So, you have to include that. Meron pa tayong cost of consultants, di ba? Cost of consultants for advice on acquisition of machinery. Siyempre, bago natin bilhin yung machinery, minsan nagpapakonsult tayo sa mga engineer or mga professional consultants na pwede ba natin itong bilhin? Applicable ba to dito sa ating lugar? Ganito, ganyan. So, you have to include that as part of the cost of machinery. Meron pa tayong dismantling cost, di ba? Dismantling cost and removal cost. Isasama mo siya as part ng cost ng machinery. Ano pa? Construction of base, di ba? Construction of base of the machinery. Di ba yung machinery minsan mauga siya. So para hindi umuga, hindi gumalaw yung machinery, meron siyang base, meron siyang tapakan, doon mo ilalagay yung machinery. May gastos din yon. So you have to include the construction of the base of the machinery as part of the cost of the machinery. Meron pa po ba? Nag-guess po ba? Okay, tapos meron pa po tayong cost of removal of old machinery. So yung kapag ang old machinery, papalitan mo ng new machinery, any cost to remove the old machinery Kapag hindi siya kasama doon sa cost ng old machinery, ilalagay mo siya sa cost ng new machinery. Tapos we have major replacement cost. So you have to include that as part of the cost of machinery. Nakukuha po ba, class? Do you have any more question pagdating po sa cost identification? Sa land improvements, building. Do you have any more question, class? So, isi-send ko po to sa inyo, itong Excel na to. Tapos, bibigyan ko rin kayo ng handout material. So, you can try to answer. Nakukuha po ba? Nagigets po ba, class?
Yes, sir.
Alright. Now, so tapos na tayo dito sa pinaka-main concept ng PPE, yung cost identification. Meron kasi tayong depreciation, di ba? So sa depreciation, napag-aralan niyo na ba yung mga klase ng depreciation? Before, napag-aralan na po ba? So, bibigyan ko lang kayo ng pahapyaw, class, ha? Mag-upload na lang ako ng video regarding depreciation. So, sa depreciation, marami tayong klase ng methods of depreciation. We have straight line. So, straight line depreciation. Nakikita pa po ba yung aking screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, meron tayong straight line depreciation. Yan. Straight line depreciation. Meron din tayong tinatawag na sum of the year's digits. The depreciation method. Meron tayong tinatawag na declining balance method. So, dalawang klase yon. 1.5 declining balance, saka double declining balance method. Tapos meron din tayong output of units depreciation. So, pag straight line method, ito yung ordinaryong computation ng ng depreciation. So, paano tayo nagko-compute? We have the cost minus the scrap value. Diba? Cost minus scrap value divided by the useful life of the asset. So, you get the depreciation. Nakukuha po ba? Nagigets po ba, class?
Yes, sir.
Ito yung sa straight line method. So, for example, gagawa tayo ng cost of the equipment. Cost of equipment is 100,000 pesos. Cost of equipment is 100,000 pesos. Scrap value. Scrap value is also known as salvage value. Yung iba ang tawag residual value. Nakukuha po ba? So, kung may mabasa kayong ganito, pare-pareho lang yan. Sabihin natin, ang residual value or salvage value or scrap value is 5,000 pesos. Then, useful life. Useful life is 5 years. Diba? And then, magkano ang depreciation? So, how much is the depreciation? Assuming ito lang yung binigay na problem, walang binigay na date of purchase. So, kung ito lang yung binigay na problem, magkano yung depreciation natin per year? 100,000 minus 5,000 divided by 5, you get the 19,000 pesos annual depreciation. So this will be your depreciation cost every year. So magkano naman ang depreciable cost? depreciable cost. Ano yung depreciable cost? Ito yung cost na exposed sa depreciation. Ano yung formula for depreciable cost? Cost minus the scrap value. So, cost na 100,000 minus the 5,000 scrap value. Ito yung 95,000 depreciable cost. Ito yung exposed for depreciation. So, yan yung pwede mong i-depreciate. So, depreciable cost siya. So, lumalabas, depreciation is also known as depreciable cost divided by useful life of the asset. So, yun yung makukuha mo, depreciation. Okay. So, you get the depreciation. Yan yun sa depreciation. Using straight line to. Ayan po. Meron din tayong ibang uri ng depreciation, sum of the year's digit. Pag sum of the year's digit, you just compute the depreciation based on the number of years, useful years of the asset, of a depreciable asset. In declining balance naman, kung ano yung percent ng depreciation rate mo, sabihin natin, yung depreciation rate mo dito, ilang percent ng depreciation rate mo sa pag 19,000? 19,000 divided by 95,000, that's 20%. So, ito yung straight line method mo ng depreciation. Kapag naka-double declining balance ka, you multiply it by 2. That's double declining kasi kaya nga double. So, 40% ang yung depreciation rate for double declining balance. Pero pag 1.5 declining balance, you just multiply the 20% by 1.5%. So, by 1.5 na. So, 1.5. So, that's 30%. This is your depreciation rate. So, ganun po yun. Ngayon, mag-upload ako ng video dito para mas maintindihan po ninyo. So, binibigyan ko lang kayo ng idea. Then, output of units production naman, or output of units depreciation, nakabase siya sa output ng unit. So, sabihin natin sa output of unit of depreciation. Ayan, okay, hiwalay ko siya dito. Ayan. Sa output of units of depreciation, meron kang cost of equipment. Yung cost of equipment mo is 5 million pesos. Ayan. 5 million pesos, meron kang salvage value. Salvage value ng equipment, sabihin natin 10% niyan. Okay, 10%, 500,000 pesos. So, magkano ang depreciable cost mo? Magkano ang depreciable cost dito? Ano bang formula for depreciable cost? Cost of equipment or cost of an asset minus the salvage value or scrap value or residual value. So, that's 4.5 million pesos. Ngayon, pag output of units depreciation, nakabase siya sa output. So, sabihin natin, itong machinery na to or equipment, ginagamit siya sa mining activities. So, ang ma-extract na estimated gold extraction. Sabihin natin, ang estimated gold extraction, gold extraction in units, estimated gold extraction in units ay 2 million. 2 million units. So sa year 1 ang na-kolekta or na-extract na units ng gold or tons, tons pala, sabihin natin tons, not units, para mas exact, mas accurate. 500,000 tons. Year 2, ang na-extract, 400,000 tons. And then year 3, 200,000 tons. And then year 4, so sabihin natin year 4, kung year 4 yan, sabihin natin 600,000 tons. Ilan na lahat yan? 1.7. And then year 5, 300,000 tons. So for a total of 2 million tons. So magkano ang depreciation? Related depreciation nung machinery or nung equipment kapag nakabase ka sa output sa production. So from here, the depreciable cost is 4.5 million pesos. You multiply it by the actual outputs for that year over the total estimated outputs of production. So first year mo is 1,125,000 pesos. So yan yung iyong depreciation for year 1. And then year 2, 900,000 pesos yung depreciation mo. Year 3, 450,000 pesos. Year 4, 1,350,000. And then year 5, 675,000 pesos. So these are your depreciation for different years. So magkano total nun? 4.5 million pesos. So na fully depreciate mo siya sa year 5. So ganito lang yan. Ngayon, mag-upload ako ng YouTube video for this depreciation para magamit niyo siya kasi cover ko siya sa final exam natin. So class, thank you so much for joining this class discussion. I really appreciate we're discussing for almost 3 hours and I highly appreciate your effort. Thank you so much. Class dismissed.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you po.
Thank you po,
Oh,
sir.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.